Happy New Year's to all of those who I hadn't said it to already. I've been making a lot of videos today based off an article from a UK newspaper who stated that they talked to a worker who had given them the tapes before, and they released them before the police. When the police put their version out, it was edited, and this paper knew it right away that something wasn't right. They also spoke with a guy at the party who said that I'm out when he saw them start talking or doing whatever to Kenneka. So the only person that I can remember basically saying I'm out was the guy who touched Irene on her head. But there was also voices in the background that was saying, "You riding with me?" and all this stuff. So I'm not sure exactly who was the guy, but they're not disclosing his identity, of course. So I put those videos out because I feel like they were the truth, and I just put them out there. But just now, I just read a witness's statement from the police report, and this guy said that he's friends with a security guard that works there, and he works the night shift, the security guard, and every night around lunchtime, they go into this kitchen and smoke because it's abandoned. He said this particular night it was him, his security friend, and it was an older gentleman there this time. He didn't know the guy, but they smoked anyway. He said the next thing you know, Kenneka walks in the kitchen and security grabbed her by the waist, like, hey, as if he had known her or something before. And he was like, she was really, kind of drowsy. So, anyway, he said security pulls her in the freezer with them, shut the door, and they continued to smoke. He said the next thing you know, he looked over and the security guy was pulling down Kenneka's pants and started to have sex with her. He said he did too, and so did the older gentleman. He said the next thing you know, Kenneka came to when the security guard tried to have sex with her a second time. She slapped him. And when she slapped him, he said that the security guard pulled out her breast, bit it, and then body slammed her on her face in the freezer. And they were like, hold on, man, what you doing? And he was like, man, whatever, and got a bag, tied around her face, and began to smother her. He said that Kenneka was screaming, crying, kicking, and everything to where him and the old guy was just like, nah, and ripped the bag off of her face and neck and everything. The next thing you know, he said the security was like, come on, man, let's leave. And the guy who is the witness, he was like, what about all this blood? Because obviously, I guess she started to bleed from somewhere. And he said, the security guard said, don't worry about it. Somebody will come in here and clean it up. And they left. He said when they left, the security shut the door, turned the freezer on, and as they was leaving out the kitchen, he cut the lights off. He said he felt so bad because he can hear her screaming and crying in there, saying, help me, and all these things. And the next thing you know, he said the next day, the security called him and said, you know that girl, right? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, she dead. And he was like, what? And he was like, yeah, but don't worry about us. The older guy who was with him, was going to make sure that it wouldn't get out there. So, what in the world is going on? She was being harassed by her friends, obviously, the party goers. And then she supposedly, according to the article, went to the front desk and told them that they were trying to rape her in there and she was running out of there. All to walk into a freezer where someone raped her, supposedly, and ended up killing her, basically. So, what now? Because this is too much. It has gone from upstairs to downstairs in the basement with separate people doing things to Kenneka. Please, someone, if you have any information about Kenneka, contact me or anyone else that you've seen that you believe in on these YouTube channels so that we can get together and give this to someone. Thank you.